So welcome guys, good evening. It's actually good evening for us right now. So I am Taha, this is Taufique. Taufique is the co-founder of Scholar and I'm the CMO. For those of you that don't know what CMO is, it means Chief Marketing Officer. That's important. So we are actually the people who you're going to see a little bit in the next few episodes, where we are going to have multiple conversations. But the thing is, for those to happen, the most important thing is for this episode to happen first. So before giving a little bit about a little introduction about me or Tawfiq, I think it will be better if we talk about what Scholar is, give them a little bit of a context about what this entire conversation is going to be about, and most importantly, how they're seeing this. Like, it's through the Scholar platform only, the Scholar YouTube channel only. So tell us a little bit about Scholar.
Scholar, you know, like all the startups out there, we are also trying to solve a problem, or just trying to make it easy for students to learn new technologies. That is what, if I have to put it in simple terms, that is what I'm trying to do here at Scholar, or what the whole team is doing. How do we make sure that the learners, if they want to learn new technologies, majorly students who are still in college, right now, if we take a look at the current employment scenario here in India, it's not pretty well when it comes to hiring the workforce for any job, right? If it's a majorly, if it's a technology based job, you need to know some technologies, you need to know how to code, you need to be good at mathematics, so that you can get a good job, good paying jobs. But right now, it's not, when we talk about how students are learning, or how colleges are teaching these students, it's very old school. It's still very old school. So we are trying to change that here, trying to help students. We connect them with industrial experts, we connect them with engineers who are working with different companies, so these engineers can teach these students, as in how do you learn a new technology, take them through the roadmap. If you want to learn a new tech, what is the step one to what is the last step, and after that what happens, how should you basically take the whole journey. That is what we're trying to do here at Scholar.
So the thing is that the Scholar model, the entire e-learning model right now, it seems very interesting to me, at least, that education is something which is not just limited to your academics only, which is not just limited to your schools and colleges only. But the thing is, like, there is always a difference between a voluntary education and something which is just thrown upon you. So, like, over the last couple of years, a lot of students, I think, in fact, most of the students in India, we had to resort to online learning. And I think most of us got introduced to online learning in not a very ideal manner, because it was forced down upon us. I think we were not ready for it. So, like, how exactly, like, where does the difference lie right now? And what kind of an experience is actually going on?
Pandemic taught us one thing, that right now the whole market scenario, it's more people centric. Ignore that you sit in a class. If you're related, if you know people, if you're able to build a good network, you're gonna grow ahead. You're gonna go ahead and grow more in the life, in any aspect, whether it's career, personal life, whatever it is. So talking about how pandemic changed the content delivery in terms of online education content delivery, I think pandemic played the major role here, and I think it was necessary. That's one good thing. People, if even they were forced, but they had to go ahead and, yes, resort to this solution. Because post that, if we see the whole market of e-learning companies, we can literally just divide this into two eras: before pandemic and post pandemic.
Exactly.
So before pandemic, we see there were a lot of companies out there, but right after the pandemic hit, everybody started learning online. Udemy and other, Udemy, Coursera, and all of these edX, all of these platforms, they became very famous, because now people got to know that yes, we can learn online. Right? For example, before that, if we talk about if somebody wanted to learn a new tech, they could go to other companies, purchase a course, 6 months, 7 month, 10 month course, but it was on a very advanced level. These were online degrees that people were doing. But right now, people, even if they want to learn any they want to learn HTML in 10 hours or 15 hours. They don't need to spend lakhs of rupees on that. They can literally buy a course for 500 to 1000 to 5000 to 10,000 rupees, and they can learn this technology in a very comprehensive way, very comprehensively.
But like, let me ask this thing. I think most people do really think about this, since it's a very new model right now.
I
Like,
don't think it's new anymore. It was new maybe 3 years back. It was new,
that's
but
true.
not
But the
right
thing
now.
is, like, still people are not very much like, if you have to, they don't really consider it that much of an option right now. The thing is that, when you look at traditional households, a very traditional kind of a mindset, you still resort to that. You have to do your schooling, your college, your university, and then obviously do coaching and all of these things. Everything is considered in a very physical kind of an approach. My question to you is, like, for anybody who really resorts to something like an online learning kind of a model, so how effective do you think that really is?
So it is effective when you know what you have to do, what you have to learn, right? If you're just figuring out, if you're just testing courses, I think it's better to just go on YouTube, try to watch a couple of YouTubers what they want to say, and basically test it out. Make a roadmap in your head, as in this is what I want to achieve in the next 6 months or in the next 1 year. If I want to become a web developer, if I want to become a machine learning engineer, if I want to become a car designer, understand what technologies you want to learn, right? And it's not necessary that if you want to learn something you can just get all of it on one platform. That's impossible, right? You might find a course on Udemy, but a follow-up of that course you'll find on some other website. A follow-up of that course you might find on Scholar.
That's the problem I faced. I was trying to, I think, learn something from YouTube, but the thing is that those guys just had 2 or 3 videos about something, and the rest of it was hiding behind a paywall.
Exactly.
Or rest of it, they didn't even consider that content. They didn't even create that
Exactly.
content.
So that is the point here. So you, at least, so what we are trying to do here at Scholar, we do not want to make a student the master of a particular technology, but what we are trying to do, our courses are majorly meant for people who want to learn anything from scratch, from basics, right? And what we are trying to do here is trying to make people understand, if they are given a piece of problem, how do they solve it, how do they do the math, and solve that problem on a piece of paper. How do they approach it? If they're able to do that, coding that problem out or putting it on a software, using a software to solve it, that is the second part. Anybody can do that. And the main idea here is, if you are told to do something, how do you do it? There can be 10 different ways of doing it, but the professionals do it in 1 or 2 ways. So learn those 2 ways. How do you make it more efficient? How do you optimize the process? So that is what we are trying to teach students.
Okay. Now, since you actually brought up the conversation of, the topic of teachers, like, my question is rather simple. Like, what kind of an instructors do really teach at Scholar? And, like, what is your filter like? How do you actually select that this is the person who is very much fit for this? Because, when you really think about e-learning or Scholar even right now, you don't really need people who are very registered. You need people who are very knowledgeable about what they
we
have.
honestly don't have any a criteria that a person should be from an Ivy League school, that he should be from a very prestigious school, he should have worked in a very top tier organization. So the whole idea here is, if you are passionate about teaching to the students, we have so many mentors who work in very big organizations, right? They don't teach with us because they want to earn money. They just teach with us because they want to transfer this. Because the whole idea we have here is, how do we make people more employable, right? How do we make people more employable? By teaching them the technologies that the companies want students to learn, right? So that is what we are trying to do here. And in terms of what type of people are teaching on our platform, these are people who are engineers in different organizations. If not engineers, these are professors in big universities who have been working professionals before. At least one criteria we have, we want people who are on a platform who are teaching, we want them to at least have 3 to 4 years of work experience. If they have that recent work experience, then we also feel, yes, this person has worked on latest technology, so he or she is right fit to teach the people.
Okay, that makes sense. I think, since by this point, actually, even I teach marketing to the students at Scholar. I think one thing that I have also witnessed is that the students usually towards the end of every course, what most of the students have told me is that they learned more from these marketing classes than they have learned from any other avenue in their life. And it's not because of the fact that these marketing classes are, that top notch kind of a knowledge. I think it's more about the delivery. I think it's more about the fact that how well you are connecting
Actually,
to a
there are two
student.
types of learning models. There is you learn, and then you work,
Uh-huh.
and then you do the practicals. But there is another one wherein you learn and you do the practicals. You learn, you do the practicals. You learn, you do the practicals. So that is a mode of education that we are trying to impart here, because that gives students, the people can, actually understand if they're learning something. How do they actually use it? That is something, most of the people see why are people who are in colleges still taking up these online courses, right? So that is a question. Because in colleges the traditional method is they learn different sorts of things in 4 years, and in academics they only have a project in final year. I think 90% of the colleges have this thing that the students need to do the
I
project in
think the
final year.
difference pretty much lies in the fact that either something is shout down upon you, something is thrown your way, or something that you want to learn voluntarily. Students that come to Scholar right now, they volunteer to do these courses, they volunteer to learn. And once they know that, okay, we are here to learn something, they go out of their way to learn something, I think it becomes more effective. I think that is something which translates very well with them. So this kind of a thing is really helpful for the students, but most importantly, at the end of the day, I think none of the platforms would really benefit a student as long as the student doesn't really want to learn or is not interested in the first place. So that is something which really some students, and I felt like some students did have a problem with that, like being in the Scholar ecosystem, I'm telling. But the thing is that a lot of students really gave a very good response as to, okay, this is something which we really needed, this is something that we didn't have in our academics. So like talking about academics also, a lot of people really think that e-learning platforms and online learning platforms, they basically are there to kind of criticize the academics that we have in the schools, in the colleges. So how true is that, or how false is that?
So I don't think that is true. I totally I'm not in favor of saying this, that we are
Okay.
trying to oppose what the
Okay.
traditional college.
Because you see, most of the people, like, they put that kind of a notion that if you are not earning millions of dollars right now or doing this, you are wasting your entire life. If you are not learning something extra, you're wasting your entire
No,
life.
this people see, all the people have different priorities in their life, right? But when it comes to the initial question that you said, are we against what college is teaching, or are we opposing that? I think that is not at all true, because what you learn in colleges, you understand the fundamentals of everything, right? But I'm just talking about the education system in India, which is not very well evolved, because because of the fact that the syllabus or the curriculum that the colleges are having right now, it's very old school. It's not new. It's what they have been learning 8 years back or 10 years back or 15 years back. Because when I was in college, if I was learning web development, I learned everything from the book, right? I learned everything from the book, and we had no project on web development, right? And we should have been given options. You go ahead, you have learned this tech, you have learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript, go build something. This is how you build it, right? We were just told this is HTML, what it does, this is how you write the codes, that's it. How you connect HTML with CSS, this is how you do it, and that's it. Move on to the next one. So that is what is lacking right now. And if even I am in trying to collaborate with colleges right now, so that we can have a combined academics model here, wherein college can do their part and we can do our part, right? So in that ways it can be, people don't even need to take separately our courses. If we can collaborate with colleges, we can have different types of people who are on board with us, include our courses as a part of their curriculum. So that makes a lot of sense. And I think some companies are trying to do it, but then again, colleges are the managements of colleges are a lot skeptical, because they're like, we are doing the same thing and we are giving education. Why do we need to collaborate with
Exactly.
companies like yours?
Exactly.
So that,
Makes
that is the
sense.
problem that is
Makes
out
sense.
there.
But the thing is, like, when you really think about it, uh, like, how easy do you think, or even how difficult do you think would it be to implement this kind of a model, that e-learning, or a different kind of a model? Like, right now Scholar is very much focusing on skill development more than anything. So that skill development kind of a thing is not something which is very existent in colleges right now. The colleges are just trying to finish the academics, finish the curriculum that
So
they have
in
done.
college, if you have to learn a new skill, you need to join a club.
Exactly.
But again,
But
to
the
go
thing
into
is,
that
like, then
clubs,
again, like, for anybody who is trying to learn something, like, colleges cannot implement that skill development or skill based model. So what is stopping them really? Why are they not
I
doing
don't
it?
know what is stopping them, because I don't think it's very difficult to implement. The thing here is, rather than having, uh, as I told you, the model that colleges are following, they teach,
Exactly.
and at end they show them, okay, let's do a practical.
Let's
Then
we
let's
need to do
build a
practical,
project.
yes.
By the time a student works on a project, when a student is in his final year, he has forgotten everything that he learned in the previous 3 years or 4 years.
Yeah.
Data structures and algorithms, for a computer science student, I think it is the most important topic that a student has to learn. Being a computer science student, if I tell you that this is something that you should be learning, you should be focusing on, this is data structures and algorithms.
Okay.
Right, so that is the most we most of the students, they learn it in the second year, early second years. But do they work on anything? They don't. So even though they have to do a project, they have to do it in the final year.
Correct.
So that is one drawback of the traditional education system that is out there.
Okay. So coming back to the topic of Scholar, like right now you're the co-founder of Scholar. So I see what your daily activities are, but like for a co-founder of an e-learning platform which has started a while back, but the thing is that it is growing at a very good rate. So what are your responsibilities like right now?
Being into operations, so my goal or my day-to-day activities, or what I focus on every day, is how do I make the content better for students, for my end users, for the learners? How do we make the content delivery better for them? Whether it is through increasing the number of hours in our curriculum, whether it is getting multiple engineers, getting multiple trainers on board on our platform as mentors, or whether it is finding people who can do workshops, doing webinars with people, figuring out new ways, constantly researching about new technologies that we can include in our courses. So that is what I try to do by the end of the day. So that is my goals. How do I make the content delivery, how do I make our courses more valuable to my learners? So that is what I
So
try to do.
like right now, since you talked about, again, I'm kind of I'm very much revolving around this topic only, but I really want to understand this. Like right now, when you mention about the fact that e-learning is not that old, not that new, it has been existent for a little time now. So like the traditional e-learning model right now also considers and actually consists of many courses that includes machine learning, AI. Those are the most existent courses out there, and I think a lot of platforms do offer them. So like, for as somebody who is practically starting the entire Scholar platform from something, right now you have so much to cover, you have so many technologies and things to cover as topics and as subjects. So like, what kind of field are you trying to dive into next?
See, when we talk about, when you said existing e-learning companies, what they do, they teach machine learning, AI, web development. So we cannot categorize based on the courses. So if we have to categorize different sorts of e-learning companies, we can categorize based on I think this is the best type of classification system that we can create, is how do we categorize them based on the audience that they are targeting. Right, so that is the best way of categorizing or sorting out the e-learning companies. What we are trying to do here, just upskilling engineering students. How do we make them more employable? We fall into that category. And Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you say it again?
It's fine.
Huh.
No, I just was trying to understand, like, what kind of fields are you trying to dive into next?
Correct. What type of
Yeah.
fields I'm trying to dive into. So currently we are already there. See, as I told you, we don't have 50, 60, hundreds or thousands of courses on our platform.
But that's something which you have done on purpose.
Yes,
like you're not trying to
we
do
just
a
have
lot.
10 to 15 courses on our platform, and these are only courses through which we figure out, yes, companies are hiring for these specific domains, whether it is AI, it is machine learning, it is automobile designing, it is electric vehicles, it is designing powertrain systems for EVs, it is full stack development, or it is UI UX designing. So these are some of the domains which are always these are evergreen domains, and right now EV is coming up a lot. So what we are trying to do right now is we are trying to evolve, or we are trying to build courses more on electric vehicles.
Okay.
Because that is the future right now. EVs is the future, and creating decentralized networks. When we talk about that, Web 3.0 is the future right now.
Exactly.
That is something that we wherein we are diving into and trying to research more on that, so that we can build we can build courses, and we can build courses not just for people who are in tier 1 cities, because people in tier 1 cities, they already have access to a lot of resources.
Sure.
And we want to build our courses in such a way so that people in tier 2, tier 3 cities or colleges, they should be also able to take these courses without making them very expensive when we compare it with other competitors out there. So if you have to take a blockchain course, it is very expensive, and if you purchase a course which is very which is not expensive, it is either recorded or you don't get a lot of content. So my goal here is, how do I make my online courses more and more affordable for people with a lot of value proposition in them.
That makes sense. That's true. I think when you also talk about the fact that EV is out there, we also have things like graphic designing, which is getting very popular. I think 3-4 years back, people really didn't think about graphic designing in such a way that it will get popular. But right now, in the past 1 year, you have seen that the rise of these NFTs and all of these Web 3.0 assets, it's actually getting quite popular and quite interesting at the same time.
Correct.
And it makes a lot of sense. Like right now, as people who are belonging to the Indian society right now, we don't have, as much as we really like to consider, we don't have a lot of access to all of this knowledge right now. We're still very much way behind in terms of technologies, in terms of knowledge.
Because I still feel that people get very confused. See, if there are 100 people who want to learn cryptocurrency, or people who want to learn blockchain, out of these 100 people, 5 people know what the roadmap is.
Exactly.
5 people know where to find the current resources, where to find the correct resources, which websites to go to, which courses to take.
Exactly.
But whatever other 95 people who are very passionate about it, and for them to figure out the roadmap, it maybe takes them weeks, or maybe takes them 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, right?
Makes sense.
So that is a very that is something that people should not be stopped. People should not get confused as what courses to take and all of these things. So for that, that's what I'm saying. The whole idea that we want to do here, that we are doing with Scholar, is we do not try to make people masters of the particular domain. We show them the right way to we guide them. If they are learning something, how do they learn it, rather than showing them the actual thing. We show them how do they learn these things, right? So give them step by step guidance in terms of technologies.
So like I'll just ask 2 questions. The first is, like, for anybody watching, who is the target audience? Like who do you consider as your ideal consumer, that this is the person who actually requires this course? Let's
College
talk about
students.
any
College students.
And like all years, first
All
to
years,
fourth
yes.
years.
It's not necessarily just college students. If a person has no knowledge, or person has very basic knowledge about a technology, and he wants to understand that particular technology, he wants to understand that particular domain, whether it is development, whether it is computer science engineering, or whether it's any domain in mechanical electronics, they want to understand something from scratch. And they also want to learn things from scratch to a level wherein they understand, okay, fine, I know what I am getting into, and what should be the next step. And if they are given a problem, even though they're not able to solve that problem on a piece of on the software or code it out, they should be at least able to understand how do I write the math for it, and how do I approach this problem.
Okay.
That is something that we are trying to do. Whether you are in class 10th or you are in college right now, first year, second or third or fourth year, this course is for you.
I guess by class 10th, when I was in class 10th, I didn't have any kind of access to these kinds of things.
Correct.
Yeah. And to be honest, if I had access to any kinds of these things, I would have probably gone for it.
Same.
The fact
correct.
that, as much as I liked my school, or as much as I liked my academics, I was always like, I need to try to do something different.
Right, exactly. When I was in college, see, there were not a lot of e-learning companies that were, even though there were e-learning companies, but it was not very famous.
It was not very
It was
famous,
not
true.
very famous. See, for example, if I had to learn how to do projects on web, and how do I build website, how do I build web apps, so there was a club in the college which was there. So we had to sit back after college, after 5 o'clock, or on weekends we had to sit back with them, and they were teaching us. We had seniors who were teaching us, but then again, it was not very effective, because
Makes
then
sense.
people are not very dedicated towards it, right?
That's true,
So-
because it was very new. Like,
No, honestly, if I was in
everybody
college,
took it very for
if I
granted.
was in college right now and somebody would have called me, okay, do you want to learn this? This is how what we are doing. We will be teaching you this for the next 20 hours, 30 hours for 2 months. You'll do projects. You'll sit with people who are in different companies. They will be teaching. I would definitely take it. Why not?
I think, like, to be honest, like, there's a lot to say here. There's a lot to mention here. And, because of the startup culture, because of the fact that companies are progressing, because of the fact that we are very much connecting with different people right now through different modes, mediums, that is really allowing us to step into a next direction. We're like, oh, this is something that could be done. Oh, this is the person who created Zomato 3-4 years back, and now this company is a unicorn company. This company is something which is earning so much amount of money. So, like, there is always a piece to take from every single equation. But I just want to conclude with one question for this person that is watching, for this boy or girl that is watching, who is thinking about dropping out of college, or not continuing with their college, or just not enrolling in any college at all. Do you think it's worth it?
Why not?
Why do you think it's worth it?
See, the whole point is, do you have a goal in your mind? If you know that after 6 months or after one, see, when somebody says, what is your 5-year plan, or what is your 10-year plan, I think that's a very lame question.
That's very vague, true.
That's a very bullshit type of question, right?
True.
So people should not have these long 5-year, 10-year, 15-year goals. Yeah, it's fine, but it works for some people, but it's not very practical, right? If you learn something, and if you're learning that thing for 1 week, after 1 week you feel like, oh no, this is not for me.
Yeah.
You might change your mind. You might want to
Exactly.
learn something. You might explore
That's what
some new
happened
things,
to me.
right? Correct. You were in engineering and then
Yeah,
you
I
jumped into
dropped out,
commerce.
yeah.
Correct. So I don't think it's wrong in any
Yeah.
ways. But then there are people. I have friends. I know people who have never finished their college, and yet they are bagging a package which is equivalent to somebody who went to IIT Bombay or IIT
True.
Delhi. This is true. So the whole idea here is, if you know where you have to go, if you want to do a job, which company you want to get into, or what is the requirement out there, if you can learn that by yourself, why not?
Makes
Right?
sense.
And in terms of, if somebody wants to build a company, you don't need to go to any college, right? So you need to have few skill. You need to know how to talk to people, how to manage people, how to do sales. And even if you don't know how to build a website or how to do marketing, you'll find thousands of apps online which can
Exactly.
help you build a basic website, which can help you run ads, right? For literally
There are
10,000,
people who start
15,000
their
rupees you can
businesses
use
from scratch
correct
now
correct
at
correct
zero
you,
cost.
by spending 10, 15 or 20,000 rupees, you can get a basic website done,
yeah.
where you can show what you do, have a checkout page,
True.
run ads, so people put things on social media, right? But the major idea is, how do you talk to people? If you're able to manage people, if you're able to manage working with other people, so that is some skill people
I
should
think
be
there
having.
is like there are multiple ways to make money. There are multiple things to do, but it really depends upon the fact that where really how knowledgeable you are about these certain
Correct.
things. What exactly do you want to do? I think, like, up until my 12th standard, I was always with the fact that you either need to go into engineering or you need to go into MBBS just
Right.
to make money.
Right.
Like these are the only
Right.
two jobs
No, no.
that exist.
And there are people literally create new jobs.
These
jobs
guys
that we don't even
that's
think
what we
would
are doing
exist.
right now.
Exactly.
For
Jobs that we
ourselves.
don't even think that exist, but we create those jobs.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That makes sense. But yeah, at the end of the day, what matters the most is, I think, for anybody who is trying to drop out as well, uh, you always need to have a goal. You don't need to be very sure about the fact that, okay, this is my goal and I know for a fact that after 5 years I'm going to land here. I think it's better to have to hope for that, but it's not always up to you about where you're going to land. That's something that happened to me as well. But I'm really thankful that I made that decision. Not suggesting anybody to drop out. Don't do that. Ask your parents first, then drop out. So that's it. We'll be wrapping this episode here. So anything you want to say to conclude?
I think right now we did not tell people that what this podcast or what we are gonna be talking about in the near future. So in the near future, what we are planning to do and what we are planning to talk about. So we are planning to get more and more guests on our podcast, and where we are gonna majorly be talking about education. We're gonna be talking about entrepreneurship. We're going to be talking about building businesses. So this is the kind of genre that we are trying to get into.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think, a lot of people want to start their businesses right now. And we see actually people starting their businesses, right? But if people need to get the correct guidance, that is something that a lot of people don't have access to, building a proper network, right? So that is what we will be talking about: building networks, entrepreneurship, how do you grow your business, how do you
and
grow
a little
your
bit of an
education.
entertainment. That's important.
Yep.
That comes directly from me. So yeah, that's completely fine. So looking forward to the next episode. I think for anybody who has not actually subscribed by now, you guys should. We guys have a lot of content that we are planning to do, a lot of people that we are also planning to bring on board. So you guys will really like the new guests that we have. So for now, bear with us, stick with us. I am Taha, this is Taufique. Again, a little bit of an introduction. I'm the CMO of Scholar right now, and he's the co-founder. So that's what we do here at the office. We sit around, we have conversations, and that's what we do the entire day basically. So it was nice having you on board. This is the first episode that
I'm always on board.
Yeah, we are actually always on board, both of us. This is something which the next guest that comes, hopefully we'll tell that person that we are glad you came with us. So
Correct.
see you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
And
See you in the next podcast.
tune in the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Good evening.